Hello! Welcome to Pedalboards of Doom. This is this week's guitar gear news, and there's a lot to get through, so I'll make it quick. Let's say this. If you like what you see and you want the same thing every week, then hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Cool, let's move on. Okay, there are some rumours going around because there's been some not very clear posts coming out of the Namm camp, which have suggested that next year in 2020, instead of having two events, one in the summer, one in the winter, as we normally have, which are normally in different places, we will have just the one. It will happen in the summer, but it will happen in the location that the winter one normally happens in. So to clarify that, it looks like it's going to happen in the summertime at Anaheim. This could be a little bit problematic because Anaheim is very busy in the summer because that's where Disneyland is. And we've all heard of that place. So, hotel prices and everything will be really, really high. I don't know. We don't know. That's the opinion that I've seen a lot of people put around about this. It might not be a permanent thing. It might just be a reaction to the events that are happening globally. Will the world be even back to normal by then? Will everyone have had vaccines and these sort of things? God knows. Who knows? No one's got a clue. But it's news. So let's go on to some real news. And I really feel like I should be wearing a shirt and a tie and a mustache for this, because this is serious news. So, you may have noticed over the last few years, since like the end of 2019 and now, because of world events, there have been a shortage of pedal releases and guitar releases and these sort of things. It hasn't completely dried up, since that's why we're still doing this, but it has dropped off quite considerably. Now, this is somewhat a reaction to it being difficult to get ICs. So they're the little black square chips that clip into your pedals and your guitars even nowadays. Now in the ICs, I'm led to believe that there are things called semiconductors, and that's where the real news comes into it, because globally there is a semiconductor shortage. The news this week has stated on several sources that it doesn't look like it's going to get back to normal until for quite some time. I've seen reports of September 2022. I've seen other places say we weren't not even going to start to see it ease until 2023. So the impact of this is going to affect us all with gear-related purchases. Firstly, it's going to be hard to get things. Secondly, if you do get things, they may be more expensive than they would have been. And thirdly, second-hand prices are likely to go up as well. All good news. Right, I do have some great news, so I've got some really cool news after this. Okay, so first great news this week is Maiden brought out a new album. It's amazing. That is so cool. Why is that gear news? Well, how many of us picked up a guitar to play riffs from bands such as Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, all these bands, and they are one of the few bands that are still making music today, and it's great. The album is really fantastic, and with what all Bruce has gone through, he's still absolutely killing it. He really is. Absolutely great album. Really enjoyed it. So that's good. Go and listen to it. Okay, Fairfield Circuitry. They have brought out a new fuzz, and it's called the About 900 fuzz. I gather from reading between the lines here that it's because it can get about 900 fuzzes worth of tones out of it. It's quite an interesting pedal. It's only got four knobs, four knobs, and it's it's really cool. Okay, so you've got a volume control, which is actually the first gain stage. If you turn everything else down, like you turn the bias and the fuzz down, and you whack the volume up, you will get a boost. You'll get a JFET boost, which is like the best sort of boost. If you then turn that down, turn the fuzz up, and then tweak the volume up a little bit, you'll get a fuzz. When you turn the volume up, then that boost actually pushes into the front into the back, I should say, but pushes into the fuzz circuit. So you've got two gain circuits. One's a cleanish boost, and one's a fuzz. And the cleanish boost just makes the fuzz go mental. Then you've got a bias control, which gives it all the broken sounds, and it's just looks great. It really does look absolutely fantastic. Andy did a great demo of it at his own site, Andy Demos, and I'll link that in the description. Right, next up, Harley Benton have released a guitar case. That's not great big news, but these cases look pretty solid, and they're £33. They're hard cases, and they're 33 quid. They look really solid. That's all there is to it. But if you are looking to buy a hard case, £33 is worth a punt. So, the biggest news this week is probably what you've come here for, because Bill Finnegan did a live cast last night, or a live stream. Now, he is the guy, he's Mr. Klon himself. He invented the Klon. He's been doing it for nearly 30 years. And the live stream went on for 25-30 minutes, something like that. And there was some really big news in it, but it took a while to get to it. So I took down some notes as I was watching it, and I'm going to summarise it here for you, because it cascades. It really does build up. Okay, first off, he doesn't like people demoing these pedals unless they're bypassed from each other. If you've got pedals and you put them in together and they're basically chained in together, like you would use it on a pedal board, he doesn't like that. Doesn't like it being demoed like that. He explained that all pedals are going to sound different if all the knobs, so say you had two blues drivers and all the knobs are pointed to 12 o'clock, they're going to sound different because the potentiometers have a plus or minus 20% of tolerance. And there were more things like this. It was just kind of telling us things that most of us are going to know, but it was kind of nice to hear it from him because he is Mr. Klon. So it's kind of reassuring in a way, even though you know this. You might be 99% sure, but he gives it 100%, doesn't he? What he had, you can see it on here, he had one gold Klon and then two KTRs, and he was switching between the two KTRs and the Klon, and compressed on YouTube through a live stream. I couldn't hear any difference. I've never been privileged enough to play 3 Klons together, and I've not even been privileged enough to play one single Klon. I have heard them in real life though. They do sound great. I do love a Klon. Now, he said that even if you had two of the KTRs together and you put the knobs in the same position, you've got the tolerances he mentioned, plus different tolerances between the actual components as well. And they will always sound a little bit different. And it was kind of like, why is he saying this? And then it all fell into place. He's run out of diodes. So he has these magic glass diodes, which he reassures us are not magic. He actually did. But he has these glass diodes, which are the ones that everyone tried to work out what the hell he was using. And basically, they're like rocking horse shit. And he just couldn't find any more. And he's run out. More or less run out. There was a caveat to that, but he has basically run out, meaning that he can't make the KTRs like he did before, because the KTR, he did go ahead and say that the KTR circuit is exactly the same as the Klons, so they're exactly the same pedal using all exactly the same parts up until now he's run out and he can't do it anymore, so he's changed the diodes and he's adapted the circuit a little bit, so it's going to be a slightly different circuit and and different diodes. But the reason for doing the switching between the 3 pedals was because one of them was using the new diodes. He didn't tell us which ones. Like I say, through YouTube over a live stream, they all sounded the same. They all sounded great. They did, but they all sounded the same. Yeah, it's quite interesting news. So it does mean that there is a new version of the KTR coming out. It will look exactly the same, but internally it is going to be different. Whether that makes any difference to you, I don't know, because they, like Klons, are very hard to find. They're very hard to buy. You can find them. Some shops do sell them, but not as hard to get hold of as a Klon. Additionally to this, he bought out the very, very first Klon, so serial number 001, and the reason he bought this out, they plugged it in, played it and everything. The reason he did that was because someone had told him about Josh Scott listing his 002 Klon on Reverb for a ridiculous price. Now, apparently Josh did this as a joke. We featured it on the news, but well, yeah, I don't know if that translated across to Bill, but Bill did say that he's got some very expensive house repairs coming up, so if anyone wants to buy it off him, he would he's open to negotiations. Oh god, you can just watch the back of Josh Scott's pedals. You're going to see two Klons next to each other. He's bound to pick him up on this. Oh my god. It's lifestyles of the rich and the famous, isn't it? Crikey. Right, okay, so that's the news this week. Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.